All right, today I am going to show you how to make my great grandma's pie crust recipe. In the bowl here I have 1.5 cups of flour. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. This is kosher salt, but you can use whatever you have. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of lard. This is the secret ingredient that makes it extra good. This happens to be homemade lard. My parents have a small hobby farm and they raise a few hogs each year. We kind of butcher them ourselves and make some lard. Leaf lard is best if you can find it. Otherwise, just any old lard will do. So like I said, we make our own. We just store it in jars and then put it in the freezer until we're ready to use it. And that way we can use it all year long. And then make more. So if you're worried about buying lard just for pie crust, you don't have to worry about that. You can use it. It's great for like fried potatoes or seasoning your cast iron, frying your eggs in it. So you can use it up even if you don't make that much pie crust. It adds a great flavor and makes your pie crust super flaky. If you don't want to use lard, you can use butter or Crisco. But this is the way my great grandma made it. She was famous for her pies. That's one of the things that my mom really remembers her making is great apple pie. So when we started making this recipe for pie crust, it really brought back some fabulous memories for my mom. So we're just cutting this in with a pastry cutter. You can do this in a food processor, but the two keys for making a great pie crust are keeping everything really cold and not overworking it. So if you do use a food processor, you want to do it just enough to bring everything together and not do it, don't process it too much. It's easy to overdo it. So we're just going to get this cut in until it's mostly incorporated. A little bit stuck to the edge there, so we'll just get that mixed in. Alright, once you get your lard mostly mixed in, it's time to add some water. I've got some ice water here, so it's good and cold. We're going to add about 3 to 4 tablespoons, just enough to bring it together into a dough. Some people swear by adding a little bit of vodka to their pie crust. With this pie crust recipe, you don't need it. It's super flaky without it. But obviously you can if that's how you like to go. I'll start by adding 2 tablespoons. We'll give this a mix and see where we're at. And using the lard in there just makes it feel so soft and I don't know, it just gives it a really nice texture. Alright, so the 2's not going to be enough. Go ahead and add another tablespoon here. It's getting close. So I don't know why, but pie crust always feels a little bit intimidating to me. But it really is a pretty simple recipe, only 4 ingredients. I guess the hardest part is just waiting, because now that we've got our dough pretty well together here, we're going to wrap it in some plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for a ½ hour. Again, one of the keys to a good flaky crust is not overworking it and keeping it cold. So I think that's about all we need here. So let's grab some plastic wrap. Put our dough on it. I'm going to go ahead and flatten it into a disc. That way it's going to be easier to roll later. If you have it in one big ball, then you've got to do that much more rolling. All right, So we'll get this wrapped up, put it in the refrigerator, and let it chill. Okay, now that our pie crust is in the pan, we're going to go ahead and put it back in the refrigerator and let it chill again for another half hour if you have the time, and then it's ready to fill and bake. I'm just going to throw my plastic wrap back in there to keep it from drying out, and it'll be ready to go in the fridge. All right, guys, here we go. Just got the pie out of the oven. I'm going to let it cool for a couple hours and then put it in the refrigerator until it's good and chilled, and it'll be ready to eat. So there we go, maple pumpkin pie and my great grandma's lard pie crust.